Like whatever you believe in, God, higher power, universe, whatever it is, it meets you halfway. And they're like, well, they're famous. That's why their life is perfect. And it's like, no, the reason you know who they are is because they're famous, but you know nothing about their life. And what's the saying? If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. Screw that. I can do this.
Hello and welcome to Living Rich Sirop. This is the show that helps you get back in touch with that inner magic, that person that's special that knows what they want all along. And today's guest knows all about that magic. Her name is Sharon Robustelli. She's the founder of Ten3 PR. She's led multiple campaigns, award-winning campaigns for over 25 years. Here are some of the people that she's worked with as a publicist. Dolly Parton, Eartha Kitt, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sharon and I both come from the world of celebrity and television. So today we're talking fame, identity, reinvention, and what it really means to live in your truth. Welcome to the podcast, Sharon.
Thanks, Rich. I'm so happy to be here.
So my first thing out of the gate is so many people today, they just want to be celebrities. Instantly want to be celebrities because of TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. And the world is that way now where you can actually become a celebrity pretty fast. But for all these people who want this lifestyle, what would you say to somebody like that about what it actually means to become a celebrity and how that changes somebody's life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would honestly first start by asking them, like, what is it that they really want? Like, what do they think that celebrity will do for them? Because some people want to be rich, some people want to be famous, some people want to be rich and famous, right?
Mhm.
And being a celebrity doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be successful in those other ways. Just because people know you, it doesn't mean that you're going to have more money. It certainly doesn't mean that you're going to be happier. It
Mhm.
just means that more people know you. So that would be the first thing is I would just kind of level set and be like, what are you actually getting at with that? But the other thing is that there's so many myths about celebrity because it depends what pool you're in. Because people can be very, very famous in a very niche part of the zeitgeist. Like someone can be very, very famous as like a in a gaming streamer, and other people in the world have no idea who that person is. So there's different levels of it. So I would say just know where you want to be. Like what is it that you actually want to contribute, because there should be a reason behind it. To be famous for the sake of fame
Mhm.
is something I don't really understand. I don't know what that motivation is. But I think that if you have a message that you want to deliver, if you have people that you want to reach with that message, and your notoriety needs to increase in order to get that out, just be true to your message and make sure that you know who your audience is and that you're moving within that audience so you can be a positive force for them.
That's good advice. I mean, I think for me, what I would tell somebody, and I have told people this because all the kids, their friends are like, "Oh my God, can you make me famous?" Because we work in the medium, and they think, "Oh yeah, I'm the decider. I can just sign your name and you're famous."
Yeah.
But my big advice would be, from what I've seen, is that so many people that I met, not all of them, there are people who found it in different ways, but they were trying to fill something. They were trying to fill a void. And they felt like if I just work hard, if I just take action, if I just do everything I can and pour everything into being famous, then that fame will make me feel better. And then when they get there and they're famous and they don't feel better, that's when real problems start to happen for them. That's when drugs and sex addictions and getting in trouble in other public ways, saying things that are crazy on X, and
Yeah.
getting into a lot of trouble because they didn't get right before they got there. So when people tell me I want to be famous, I'm like, make sure that you're not chasing like feeling not feeling good enough, because
Yeah.
fill that first. Start to feel good about yourself first, and then see if you still want to be famous.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's why I say I don't necessarily understand fame for the sake of fame. And it's what you're saying. It's people are trying to fill some void and they've decided that this external validation is the thing they're going to chase. And I think it also comes from what I call compare and despair. It's like they're looking at someone else. They think that other person's life is perfect. And they're like, well, they're famous. That's why their life is perfect. And it's like, no, the reason you know who they are is because they're famous, but you know nothing about their life. So now they're chasing some illusion.
Oh my
and
God.
they haven't done any of the internal work. There's no motivation. There's no reason that they want to be known other than that they're lacking something. And if they think that's going to come from being famous, they are in big trouble.
It's
And
true.
the people I've worked with who have been sort of most, I think, successful just from my outside view of with navigating fame are people who stay very much in touch with who they are and who they were. Like the person who still has friends from junior high school, they still have their same friend group. That person who actually has used their fame to help people, who
Hmm.
founded a nonprofit, who maybe quietly gives to causes that they care about. Like those are the people who have longevity and who you don't hear about doing crazy things because they actually have a purpose behind it and they're using their fame and their resources to help move them further within that purpose and to accomplish things that really mean something to them.
Yeah, it's like some people, they just can't help it. They're going to become famous. Like Dolly Parton, somebody who you worked
Right.
with.
That's who
One
I
of,
was thinking of when I was talking about
she's one of
people
my
who
all-time
successfully
favorites.
navigate fame. Yeah.
She is because she is so herself all the time.
Hmm.
And it's not like she was trying to do it just to be famous. She's just Dolly Parton. That
Right.
was going to
Right.
happen.
Yeah. And she's been famous for so long.
Yeah.
And she's someone who knows what it means to like literally come from nothing.
Hmm.
Right. So I'm not saying everyone needs to have hardship, but her hardship, I think, created this purpose in her. Like she's the drive that she has. So people can have drive coming from you know, other reasons and other foundations. But I feel like that was hers.
Hmm.
And she continues to do that, and she does things quietly. And people who, have been fans of hers stay fans because she's not all of a sudden coming out and you hear something wild about her or some deep, dark secret. She is
Yeah.
someone that I would say has successfully navigated fame, and she's used her fame to good purpose.
You would try to pull things from these people and see what you could learn and grow from. What did you see with some like Eartha Kitt? Like, what did you see with Eartha Kitt where you go, oh, that's something I'm going to take for myself and use that for my own success?
It's funny because she is of the people that I've worked with who were like ultra famous. She is the person that I worked with most closely. Like there are other people where I worked, on their account, as we would call it, but I wasn't necessarily the one who was with them one on one, going to the interviews with them and all that. But with Eartha, I was.
Hmm.
And I got to see someone who I had known of since I was a child. My mom was always a huge Eartha Kitt fan. Um, and there's a couple things about her that I really do think stuck with me. One is she is who she is. Like there is something she knows who she is and she operates from that space all the time. She's grounded in who she is. She also knows the difference between who she is and the illusion that she needed to create when she was on. Like when she was on, she was on, and when she was off, she was off. But there was something about her that was always the center. So I would go from seeing her in like all, sequins regalia performing, laying on top of a piano at the Cafe Carlisle to being in her room where she was, doing needlepoint with her glasses on and, no makeup and all that. And it was still the same person. I never felt like I was in the presence of someone different. It was just she had a job to do. She did that job and she was true to it, but she could separate the two and still be herself. So that to me has always stuck with me. And I can just think about the fact that um, it's quiet. It's that she
Yeah.
had such a quiet strength and a quiet knowing. Not that she was known for speaking up, I mean, clearly, but she had a quiet strength about her. And she was also very, very protective of her energy. It took her
Wow.
a long time to
Huge.
warm up to me because she's not a phony. Like she didn't fake it. So for a while, I would like meet with her and we'd have our first little meetings, and I'd go back to my boss and be like, I don't know if she likes me. And he'd be like, just stick, hang in there, hang in there.
Yeah.
And then it was nice and it was easy. But in the beginning, it was very clear that she protects her energy and she doesn't fake it. And you have to earn, you have to earn the right to be a part of that energy.
So you and I met at BNI. BNI is a
Hmm.
business networking group for anybody that doesn't know. And you transitioned from having more of a stable career, probably working for, an agency or working for a TV show, to having your own business. And I know I did the same thing because I have a coaching business now. We're both entrepreneurs. Um, what type of courage did that take?
Mm. It's interesting because it definitely took courage. And in my case, it also took like an anger. Like I tell people, I started my business out of spite. And it was just being fed up with the way things were, being fed up with the way I saw things operating as a part of a large agency. And it wasn't necessarily the large agency model only, but it was this particular situation that I was in at the last place I worked. And it took me to really be like, you know what? Why am I spending all of this energy helping to forward somebody else's goal and somebody else's dream and somebody that I don't always have a lot of respect for, to be honest? Just like the way this particular situation was and the way people operated, which I understood it, but it wasn't, if I had my choice, it wasn't the way I would have operated.
Hmm.
So then I was like, if I'm doing this for this person under these circumstances, with little to no guidance, help, any of this, I can do it for myself. So that was like the catalyst. And I think the emotion was a little bit of like, screw that. I can do this. Like I felt like I had something to prove at that time, where now it's much more, I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I want to be better than I was yesterday, yes, but it's not the same motivation. Now the motivation comes from seeing the results of that. Like I needed that to light the fire. I
Hmm.
needed that to light the fire because I'm someone who, I'm pretty easygoing and then I can be comfortable. As long as I'm being taken care of, I'm not worried about anything. I can be comfortable. So I had to become really uncomfortable. And I'm really uncomfortable when I'm angry, when I'm feeling that kind of like screw you, like that makes me uncomfortable. So I had to move to get out of that.
The center, the heart of your life, which is your friends, your family, your time, your health, if that is empty, you have nothing. You have
Yeah.
nothing. You can have everything and have nothing, and have nothing and have everything.
Yes, that's so true. That's so, so true. And something that you taught me is to think about who are the people that I really care what they think. Like who are the people whose opinions I really care about? And that's like three people, right? I care about what I'm doing, how I'm
Yep.
making other people feel. My husband, Anthony, and our child, Ella.
Yep.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it. It doesn't mean I am careless with everyone else, but those are the three people who I never want to disappoint. I never want to be someone where they're like, who is this? Those are the people whose opinions I care about. And that has changed so much because for me, it's like I don't have to struggle so much with this idea of self-worth and purpose because I know that I can operate in multiple lanes. Like many things can be true. I can be
Mm.
good at my
Oh, I love
job.
that.
I can also be a wife who's attentive, who cares, who has compassion. I can also be a mom who's like there to listen, to just chill out. And it's up to me to kind of switch those things without making it anybody else's concern,
Hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like before, I know when I was younger, one of the things that I would do is if I was not right, nobody in the house was going to be right. If I'm going through something, we're all going through something.
Mm. Oh yeah.
And that's so selfish, but it's also just like needy. It was like this
Yeah.
needy
You used
thing
that,
that,
that I always say that's the type of person that makes the house a lot smaller,
yes,
you know?
yes,
And there's certain people, even if they're not in your unit, if they come into your space, the space all of a sudden feels like it's not big enough.
yes,
And then
yes,
there are other people like my wife, right? When I'm in the house, our house in Brooklyn with her, like that place feels humongous.
Right.
I never feel like I'm overcrowded or I'm like somebody's overbearing or her energy's hitting me, like you feel like they're kind of
Hmm.
swiping you from the side. It's it really is like that. That's a good lesson. And it's also a good lesson to switch lanes and to not feel guilty when you switch lanes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm going to be with my son's coming home at 4 o'clock today. I haven't seen him for a few days because we have joint custody. He's going to get my attention for a few hours when he gets home today, and I'm not
Mhm.
going to feel guilty that I'm not doing something else. That is a switch that you have to learn to turn on and off in your head. Where
Yeah.
these people who promote success and wealth, not all of them, but some of them are like at the expense of everything. You work until you grind yourself into the ground. It's not how life is. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think you could be very successful, and I've seen it from a lot of people, and also be very happy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And success is broader than just financial success, broader than just leaving having a legacy that's your business. For
Hmm.
me, success is like, how am I doing in multiple areas, right? Am I taking time for myself? Have I done any of the things that make me happy, that make me feel whole? Have I been able to be there for someone else and not think about myself?
Do you feel like there were people, you're very wise. Do you feel like there were people who passed these things along to you that gave you this as a foundation?
Mm. Yeah, I feel like more than anything, it was what I saw. I don't have anyone that I can say directly like sat me down and shared these life lessons with me. But I saw my mom, I saw her work ethic. My mom was someone who, if she didn't like something, she would change it. No matter how long it took, no matter how hard it was, she would change it. So if, as a child, she had a very hard upbringing, a very hard childhood that I would not wish on my worst enemy. But as soon as she was able to change it, she changed it.
Mm.
She left. She didn't stay in it as soon as she was able to. Her marriage wasn't working out. She changed it. So she was someone who always, to me, was like not someone who I saw as necessarily like outwardly brave, but she had this courage about her that she was like, if I know that this is not a way that I can just survive, I'm going to change it. And then she also had a work ethic. I mean, she had an incredible work ethic where, she would say to me, like, I would call and be like, oh, I really don't want to go to work today. When I was just starting out of college and she was, I was in the city, I'm from Long Island. So I would call her and be like, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that.
Hmm.
And she had that old school work ethic, which was like, you go to work, you can die on the weekend. It's exactly what she would tell me. You go to work, you could die on the
That's
weekend.
hilarious.
And so, it didn't always serve me, but it was something where I knew that there was an expectation and a responsibility, and I saw how she handled it. So that to me was my biggest role model.
That's awesome. I think my mom's the same thing. Very, very much, and my dad was all about integrity and honesty and like being true to your word.
Hmm.
If you give your word, you got to stick to it. You don't change your word. And that was always his thing. Just be honest, just be honest. And that is my strength and weakness now, is that I am very honest, but I'm very honest. So
Yeah,
you don't want the truth, don't ask me the question.
yeah, yeah,
I don't hurt people, not intentionally. I'm very careful with it.
right.
But if you ask me like, why do you think I just can't accomplish this thing? Unless I'm coaching somebody, it's a different story. But if it's a friend or family member, like, why am I just not able to do this? I'll be like, well, you're not really working hard enough for it. You know, when are you going to the gym?
Yeah,
Like,
why are you sitting here talking to me?
right. Like, what's your exercise? What are you eating? Like, I don't know. That's the first thing, of course, is knowing what you want before you start to move towards it. Because the biggest mistake I see people make in the business that you and I come from, that's the mistake. They make money quick and they hang out with famous people and they get in the wrong lane. So that's what happened to me. I
Yes.
was like, okay, I'm a game show producer. I ended up becoming really good at it, but I got into TV to be a comedy writer. I
Hmm.
wanted to be a writer for like these comedy shows that I grew up loving. And my favorite show when I was a kid was Sanford and Son. I had asthma, and
Yeah.
my mother wouldn't let me watch it because it used to make me have laughing attacks and it would make
Oh.
me wheeze. She would be screaming from the other room, "Are you watching Fred Sanford again?" Because she knew it was gonna end up in the hospital if I wasn't
Yeah,
careful. But
yeah.
then I went from him to Seinfeld and all these shows that I watched growing up. That's what I wanted to do. But right out of the gate, I was good at game shows. And I was making a lot of money. I was hanging out with Regis and then
Mhm.
Meredith and Cedric. And people like, look at you, look how special you are having this special job. And then you're like at the top of the mountain and you look over at the mountain you want to be on and you cannot hop from mountain to mountain.
Right, right,
You got
exactly.
to start climbing again.
Yep.
I mean, you could climb faster than you did the first time, but you got to
Yeah.
start right at the bottom and climb back up that mountain. I think a lot of
Yes.
people are so afraid of, I have somebody who I work with who really has a dream, right now. And, the things that you need to do to get there, some of them feel like beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I don't really, I have an education. I don't really want to be doing that job. And it's like, you got to ask yourself if you want it and let your ego be checked at the door.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you said that because it reminds me of when I have always been in PR, always started, internship, went to school for it, started in the, entertainment PR. But then after I had my child, Elle, who's now 17, I took a break. And so I took a break for 4 years. I started my own catering business, which I do not recommend.
I love that story, by the way. It's the most amazing story. Of course, you started a catering
And
business.
because again, there's a how-to book for every single thing. That's where you can find a how-to book on every single thing. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go back into this business. I'm going to find something else. I went in the self-help section of Barnes and Noble, pulled out a book, and within like one, just like I never even bought the book. I just was skimming it, and they said, and it was about how to have a pick your second career. And I'll tell this quickly because this isn't even the point of the story. How to pick your second career. And I looked and it said, what do people always tell you you should do? Like, do people look at you and say, oh, your hair always looks so nice. You should be a hairstylist. Your makeup looks great. Maybe you could be a makeup artist. You dress so well, like, and be a fashion stylist. And for me, people always asked if my parties were catered. And I was like, oh no, I did it myself. So I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. So I got this how-to book. It came with a CD-ROM, right?
Oh my
Of
God.
like all these things. I had recipes, all this stuff. So anyway, so I did that for 4 years and it was grueling. But the point of it was so that I could stay home a bit and work from home and see my child grow up and not miss anything and all that. I had someone to help. We had a nanny, but like I was here. Like I might have been like stuffing mushrooms, but I was home. And then when I went to go back into PR, when I was like, okay, this is grueling. Do not want to work with food like ever again. Um, I started out and I was not able to like start. It was so hard for me to start at that place again where I was doing things that I never was doing before because I had to start somewhere. And I had been out of the business for 4 years. So took a job where it was like a lower, level than I was before. And I was doing things that I hadn't done in years and I was resentful. So of course
Hmm.
that was not I didn't work out very well.
Yep.
Then when I started my own business, I'm doing things way beneath that. I'm doing
Right.
entry level everything, but because it's for me,
Oh,
I have such a different perception of it. I'm enjoying it and I'm like, "Oh, I want it. I'm so close to the work now. I just love it." But
it's
had
so
that been for
true.
somebody
Oh,
else,
that is so true, Sharon. I
yeah.
can't tell you how much that rings true for me. When Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was at its height, it was 35 million viewers a night. Okay. 5 nights in a week. We were getting 30. We were beating like the Emmys. We were on top of the world. And I was kind of like casual about it. Oh, whatever. I work on the number one show. It's pretty cool, blah, blah, blah. Then move fast forward to now I have my own coaching business. I carry around a little stand with a light on it for back and forth between Brooklyn and New Jersey. And, I'm like making these videos. My YouTube channel has 450 or 480 subscribers. And that to me is more rewarding than 35 million viewers of a show that wasn't mine. Those 480 people that show up for me that say thank you for this. I needed this. My mom died and I really needed to hear this. Or my girlfriend left me, and my friends all left me with her, and I've been feeling really bad, and these videos make me happy. That actually makes me happier because now I'm climbing the right mountain.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
at the top of a mountain and just feeling like, oh, is this all there is? And now
Yeah.
I'm at the beginning, well, more probably towards the mid of the climb. And I'm just like, this is the best mountain I've ever been on. And I'm not always thinking just about the top. I think that's
Yeah.
it. When you love something, you're not just worried about being on the top, you're actually enjoying the climb.
Yeah, exactly. And the energy changes. Like I have energy for things I would have never had energy for before. It's because,
Like what? What are the other things?
well, all right. Well, one is writing, right? I've always been a writer, and in public relations, there's a lot of writing. I had gotten so far away from writing pitch letters and press releases and all these things. And I can remember at that job that I took when I went back to work after 4 years, that was one of the things I had to do. And I was like, oh, God, I have to write a press release. Like, what are they talking about? And it was so I couldn't do it. Like I had such a hard time doing this thing that I was like, oh, this is for an entry level person. Now I could find a reason and a way to write a press release, 5 days a week. And it's just like the energy that I have for things is so different. It's not draining.
It's weird, but I bet you it sounds almost like that job was a good way for you to be reminded of all the things that you would eventually take into your business.
Yeah.
Like where you're like, this is below me, this is below me. And then you can look at it from a different perspective once you actually get into the place now where you're using it again. And,
Yeah.
I remember I used to have two assistants because I was running two shows at the same time. And
Mhm.
I couldn't do anything for myself anymore.
Right.
I couldn't do anything because I was so busy with running a TV show and taking meetings and working on scripts and being in the control room that something like, I don't know, figuring out how to call Easy Pass to get a
Mhm.
fine fixed felt so overwhelming to me. Or even knowing the password for something, I lost control of my own life. And I remember thinking, I got to get rid of these assistants. I have to become my own assistant because
Mhm.
I am becoming somebody who can't function like the people that I worked with, a lot of the
Yeah.
celebrities, where they didn't even know how to get a car for themselves, or
Right.
they didn't know what was in the neighborhood to get lunch at. They
Yeah.
needed you to make every decision for them. I said, I do not want to go there. So that's exactly what I did. I was like, I have the assistant because it comes with the job and I don't want somebody to lose their
Mhm.
job. But I started doing everything on my own again because I had to in order to remember how to.
Yeah, exactly. You lose those skills. And now when I have a team, and the way my agency works is I build the team based on the business, right? So some people hire us, they get me. Like that's what they need, what I offer, which is helping them with their, thought leadership, helping founders tell their stories, helping with social media, those types of things like strategy. But
Hmm.
other people, they need a team. Like they need someone to pitch the media. They need someone for media relations. They may need someone who has expertise in their particular field, like tech or like fashion. So I have a network of people. And now when I look at who I want to bring onto the business, it's because they have a particular expertise, not because it's something I don't want to do or can't do. It's they can do it better.
Mm,
So now I've built a team that is going to serve that business better. Whereas before it was like, what do I need? I need someone who could handle all these little, all the minutia. I need somebody who can do that. I need somebody else who can keep me on track with all the stuff that I need to do and make sure that the minutia is going well. And now it's like, all right, who's going to serve this business better?
mm,
And everything just works so much better because we're all working within our like calling, so to speak. It's
totally.
not someone in a job just because of what I need. It's really looking at serving the client. So
What do
that's
you,
been very cool.
you have all different types of people that you work with.
Mhm.
You work with authors and then you work with people who have products. Two questions. One is, what is the span of types of different businesses and people that you work with? And then two, and I know the answer to this, but I want you to say it. What is the advantage to having a publicist in your corner?
I am very much industry agnostic in terms of our business. Ten3 PR, as you said, serves clients across multiple industries. So we've got clients who are in toys, tech, um, home, housewares, all different industries. The through line is a couple of things. One is that I work with brands that are either new startups or they're at a particular phase in the evolution of that brand. So either new or they need revitalization, they've reached a plateau and now they need some help to get to the next level. They're introducing new products. So that would be how I would define the industries that I work with. And then the other thing that we do is we work with individuals in what I call, I'm sure other people call it this too, but personality driven industries. And that doesn't mean they have to be a celebrity or a personality the way we think of it. It's someone who, if their authority was better known, if more people knew about them, then their business would do better. And then for the brands, like I said, it's you, there's got to be a reason. It's not, people are not going to hire me, and I'm not going to necessarily take on something where I don't see where our PR part of it, because we're just one part of a whole marketing mix, right? There's advertising, there's direct mail, there's all types of other things. I need to be able to see where what we do is actually helping to move them forward.
Isn't it funny how sometimes, like we were just talking about, how you do this whole thing, just work and grind yourself into the ground is not a good method. What I don't want people to confuse is that you do need to work really hard to achieve something great.
Yes, yes,
It's how you, the boundaries that you put around that are important. But you still need to allot the right amount of time and make the right decisions and be willing to put forth the effort that you need to put forth to have the thing that you want. It's
yeah.
never just like you can't wish things into existence.
Yes, exactly. It's like, it takes action. It takes action. It's like the wish for me is like the first thought of, I need this to be different, or I need to accomplish this, or I want to accomplish this. That would be like the wish part of it, the thought and the
Yeah.
understanding of it.
Yes.
But then it comes with action.
Yeah.
It comes with action. And I tell people all the time, like, whatever you believe in, God, higher power, universe, whatever it is, it meets you halfway. There
Yep.
is no
Yep.
magic wands out there. I don't care how you slice it, it meets you halfway. And what I usually ask for, like, I have a morning routine of prayer and meditation, and it's just sets me just, to ground me before I start my day. And what I'm doing in that is I'm trying to say the prayer is me saying, right? The way I think about it, the prayer is me talking to God. And to me, God is whatever you want to call it. And the meditation is listening because
Mm.
I need to know, what am I supposed to
Wow,
do now?
smart.
What am I supposed to do? So the
Yeah.
prayer is the talking, and it could be the asking or the gratitude or whatever it is, but the quiet, the meditation is listening. And then I need to do it even more when I'm in that mode of like, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this, I don't know what to do. That's when I really need to do it. But because I've been in this practice over years of doing it every single morning, I am very clear on the fact that faith in whatever it is, or that wish or that need, requires action on my part to make it happen.
All right, final question. Here we
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Um, Put these in the order of importance for success. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Passion, work ethic, and adaptability.
I'm gonna say, mm, uh, I'm gonna say work ethic, adaptability, and passion.
Finally, finally, somebody agrees with me. The first two
Beca-
podcasts I did, that both people said it that way. And I'm like, this must be the secret to success because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I think. And then ever since then, everybody's been doing it differently.
Yeah, I really think that's true. I think that's true because the work ethic is what gives you the consistency. The work ethic is what gets you out of bed in the days when you don't want to get out of bed. The work ethic is what keeps you going when you feel like you failed. This is stupid. Everybody's stupid. These clients are horrible.
Yeah.
Nobody appreciates me. It's the work ethic that's going to get you through that.
Yes. And then the ability to
The-
adapt makes you not bang
and
your head against the
yeah,
wall. And the
right. Because
passion gets you back into the work ethic.
yes,
That's the
exactly.
cycle.
Exactly. That's the loop.
But if
Yeah.
you start out with passion and you're like, God, I love this. How many times have you had passion for something that once the work ethic started, you realized you didn't have as much passion as you thought you did?
Yes, I have a lot of half done crocheting right now that's collecting dust in a corner because I was like, yeah, I'm a crocheter. I'm a crafter. No, I'm not. I'm so not.
You got to get go to Barnes and Noble, get a crochet business book.
Yeah,
That'll be four
I bought
years.
all the things, I've
Yeah.
got a whole kit. I was getting gifts of like, oh, since you're
Oh
crocheting now,
no.
I've got a bag. I've got it all. You would think I was the world's greatest crocheter, and I have not finished a single thing, and I'm not planning on it.
Okay, so if you're listening to this podcast or watching it and you know Sharon, no more crochet gifts, okay? No more catering gifts, no more crochet gifts.
No.
Right now, it's the book. Okay, get her a
Yes,
fancy
yes.
pen.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Sharon, this is amazing. Thank you so much for taking an hour to spend with me and just to talk about life. I hope people get a lot out of this. I love our conversations. We do them all the time, and
Yeah.
it's just nice to finally record one and let people take away from it what they might.
Thank you so much, Rich. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I'll talk to you anytime. Anytime,
Maybe there'll be a
recorded or
second
not.
episode. I haven't had a second guess yet. It could happen.
Okay. There we go. There we go. You never know.
All right, this has been Living Rich. Sirop, we'll see you, hear from you. Talk to you next time.